Picture this. Deep in the endless void between stars, something extraordinary begins its journey toward us. 7 miles wide, older than Earth itself, moving at impossible speeds through the cosmic dark. But here's what might disturb your dreams tonight. This isn't just any space rock drifting aimlessly through the galaxy. This visitor follows a path so precisely calculated, so statistically impossible that it defies every law of chance we know. Its trajectory? It will sweep past Mars during the perfect dawn viewing window, hide behind our sun during its closest approach, pass by Earth at the exact distance for optimal observation, and finally, dive through Jupiter's magnetic field like it's following some ancient star map. The odds of this happening naturally? 1 in 20,000. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, ask yourself this. Are we witnessing the most remarkable cosmic coincidence in human history? Or are we being watched by intelligence from another star system? Intelligence that learned long ago to hide in the cosmic shadows, disguising their technology as ordinary chunks of ice and rock. This is the story of 3I Atlas, our third interstellar visitor, and possibly our first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. But before we reveal what makes this object so extraordinary and unsettling, we need to understand how we found it and why its discovery sent ripples of both excitement and fear through the scientific community. Chapter 1. Discovery of the Watcher. July 1st, 2025. A routine night at the Atlas Observatory in Chile. Automated telescopes scan the heavens, searching for asteroids that might threaten Earth. Nothing unusual, just another shift in humanity's endless watch of the skies. Then, at 3:47 a.m. local time, something appears on the digital sensors, a faint point of light, moving against the background stars. The computer assigns it a boring designation, A11PI3Z, just another space rock requiring follow-up observations. But within hours, astronomers around the world begin to realize they're looking at something that shouldn't exist. You see, there's a number that determines whether an object belongs to our solar system or comes from somewhere else entirely. It's called eccentricity. Objects that orbit our sun have eccentricity less than 1. They're trapped here but following the same paths for millions of years. But objects with eccentricity greater than 1? They're visitors, travelers from other star systems following hyperbolic paths that bring them here once, and then carry them away forever. A11PI3Z had an eccentricity of 1.1. It was interstellar. Within days, observatories across 3 continents confirmed what seemed impossible. This was the third confirmed visitor from another star system ever detected. The first, Oumuamua, caught us by surprise as it was already leaving. The second, Borisov, behaved like a normal comet, exactly what we expected. But this third visitor, this one was different. They renamed it C2025 N1 Atlas, then simplified it to what we call it today, 3 Atlas. The 3I means third interstellar. But as the months passed and more data came in, some scientists began to wonder if those letters should stand for something else entirely. Because unlike Oumuamua, which we discovered as it was already racing away from us, 3I Atlas was caught on approach, still months away from the sun, still giving us time to watch, to study, to prepare. And what we discovered in those first weeks of observation would challenge everything we thought we knew about visitors from other worlds. Dr. Robert Warwick, the same astronomer who discovered Oumuamua 8 years earlier, said something that sent chills through the astronomy community. The detection of 3I Atlas felt both familiar and entirely new. We knew what to look for this time, but what we found was beyond anything we had prepared for. The initial size estimates came back first, then the composition data, then the trajectory calculations. With each new measurement, 3i Atlas became more mysterious, more impossible, and more unsettling. But before we dive into what makes this object so unprecedented, you need to understand the visitors that came before, the messengers that prepared us for what might be humanity's first glimpse of technology from another star. Because 3i Atlas isn't just the largest interstellar object ever found. It might be the most important discovery in human history. The question is, discovery of what exactly? Chapter 2. The Messengers Before. To understand why 3i Atlas is so extraordinary, we need to visit the two cosmic messengers that came before it, each one stranger than the last, each one arriving closer to our most critical moment in human history. October 19th, 2017. Robert Warwick was scanning images from the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii when he noticed something that shouldn't exist. A faint point of light moving against the stars in a way that defied explanation. They named it Oumuamua. In Hawaiian, it means scout sent from the distant past to reach out to us. How prophetic that name would prove to be. Oumuamua was the first confirmed visitor from another star system. But it was unlike anything in our cosmic neighborhood, shaped like a needle, or perhaps a flat disk, spinning end over end as it tumbled through space. It reflected light strangely, almost like polished metal. But here's what kept astronomers awake at night. Oumuamua was accelerating away from the sun in a way that couldn't be explained by gravity alone. Something was pushing it. Yet, unlike every comet we'd ever studied, it showed no tail, no visible outgassing, no cloud of debris. Harvard's Avi Loeb dared to whisper what others wouldn't say out loud. What if it wasn't natural at all? What if Oumuamua was artificial? A solar sail, perhaps, or something designed by intelligence beyond our world? Most scientists dismissed this as speculation. They insisted it had to be outgassing invisible gases. But no gas was ever detected. By the time they wanted to study it more closely, Oumuamua had vanished into the darkness between stars. The first messenger had come and gone, leaving only questions. Then, on August 30th, 2019, amateur astronomer Gennady Borisov was scanning the night sky from his observatory in Crimea. What he found changed everything again. This second visitor behaved more like we expected a comet to behave. It had a proper tail, streaming gas and dust as it approached our sun. Scientists called it 2i Borisov, and it seemed almost comfortable, familiar. But when they analyzed its chemistry, they found something unsettling. This comet was rich in carbon monoxide, far more than any comet born in our solar system. Its composition whispered of origins in a colder, more distant realm around an alien star. Borisov passed through our system in December 2019, trailing its alien chemistry like breadcrumbs from another world. Now we have the third messenger, 3i Atlas. And this one is different from both that came before. Where Oumuamua was small and mysterious, 3i Atlas is massive, 11 kilometers across. Where Borisov was faint and fast, 3i Atlas follows a trajectory that will bring it past Mars, around our sun, close to Earth, and by Jupiter. It's almost as if someone plotted this course deliberately. One visitor might be dismissed as chance. Two, perhaps coincidence. But 3 interstellar travelers arriving within just 8 years of each other? Some whisper that we are being studied, step by step, that each visitor was part of a sequence. First, a scout, then a probe, and now, something larger. Perhaps they come not to announce themselves, but to watch us. Perhaps the watchers have been drifting past us all along, disguised as natural objects, and we're only now learning to see them. After billions of years of cosmic silence, why are they coming now? Why do they arrive just as humanity stands at the edge of transformation, wielding nuclear fire, creating artificial minds, reshaping our very planet? The answer might lie not in what these objects are, but in what they're pretending to be. Chapter 3. Size, Shape, and Secrets. Imagine a mountain of black ice, larger than the city of Manhattan, tumbling through the void. Its surface absorbs almost all light that touches it, like a perfect shadow drifting between the stars. Scientists call it a comet, but to others it looks like something else entirely. A vessel, a vault, a watcher. This is 3I Atlas, and its size alone should make us pause. Early estimates suggest this visitor is massive beyond anything we've seen before from interstellar space. Where Borisov measured less than a kilometer across, 3I Atlas spans somewhere between 5 and 11 kilometers in diameter. That makes it 10 to 20 times larger than its predecessor. To put this in perspective, this is potentially the largest interstellar object ever detected. A trillion-kilogram giant spinning through space with a rotation period of about 12 hours. Unlike Oumuamua's bizarre cigar shape, 3I Atlas appears roughly spherical, perhaps slightly elongated, tumbling slowly as it approaches our sun. But it's the object's color that whispers of deeper mysteries. 3I Atlas reflects only 4% of the light that hits it. It's as dark as charcoal, as black as soot. A mirror made of shadow absorbing the light of our sun and giving almost nothing back. This darkness isn't entirely unusual for comets, but combined with its size, it creates an unsettling image. A massive black sphere, large enough to contain what exactly? When scientists study its composition, they find water ice, carbon-rich materials, and organic compounds, the chemistry of life, frozen in time. But here's what keeps them awake at night. 3. Atlas appears pristine, unaltered, as if it was born yesterday around an alien star. This pristine condition raises uncomfortable questions. If this object has been wandering through interstellar space for millions or billions of years, why hasn't cosmic radiation stripped it bare? Why does it look so protected? There are only a few possibilities. Either its journey was much shorter than we think, or something shielded it during its long voyage through the void. Something that preserved it, something that kept it intact. And then there's the size factor again. 3I Atlas is large enough to conceal almost anything, large enough to hide instruments, structures, technology. If you were an advanced civilization and wanted to send a probe to study a distant star system, what better disguise could you choose than a comet? Natural, expected, ignored by most. The first visitor, Oumuamua, was small and strange, drawing attention with its bizarre acceleration and impossible shape. The second, Borisov, was tiny and normal, slipping past almost unnoticed. But the third visitor is not trying to be subtle. 3I Atlas is monumental, commanding, as if it wants to be seen, studied, remembered, as if it has something to show us. But what secrets might lie beneath that dark, pristine surface? What instruments might be hidden within that mountain of alien ice? And why, after billions of years of silence, has something so large chosen now to visit our quiet corner of the galaxy? The answers may be closer than we think. Chapter 4. Compositional Mysteries. When astronomers point their most powerful telescopes at 3I Atlas, they're not just looking at ice and rock. They're reading a chemical diary written in another star system, billions of years ago. And the story it tells is unlike anything we've seen before. The Hubble Space Telescope, along with observatories on Earth, have begun breaking down the light from 3I Atlas into its component colors. This spectroscopy reveals the fingerprints of molecules, the chemical signatures that tell us what this visitor is made of. What they found should comfort us. Water ice, detected through the faint glow of hydroxyl molecules breaking away from the surface. Organic compounds, complex hydrocarbons, and carbon-rich materials. The basic chemistry of life, frozen in time. But beneath this familiar chemistry lies something unsettling. The water ice of 3I Atlas doesn't match our solar system's signature. Early measurements suggest its hydrogen and deuterium ratios are different from anything born near our Sun. This is clear proof that we're looking at matter forged under alien conditions, around a distant star whose light we may never see. If its ice is not like our ice, if its water carries a signature unknown to Earth, then what else might it carry within? Perhaps memory, perhaps intention. The organic compounds are equally mysterious. Rich carbon content spreads throughout the object like veins of possibility. These hydrocarbons and carbon chains are the building blocks that could seed new worlds with life. Some scientists whisper about galactic panspermia, the idea that life spreads through the cosmos on objects just like this one. But others whisper about something else entirely. What if these organics weren't just randomly preserved? What if they were deliberately placed, carried, protected across the vast emptiness between stars? Here's what makes 3I Atlas truly puzzling. It's too pristine. After potentially billions of years wandering through interstellar space, it should be weathered, stripped, scarred by cosmic radiation. Instead, it looks fresh, intact, as if something protected it during its long journey. There are only a few explanations for this pristine condition. Either it was ejected from its home system recently, or it traveled through some protective environment we don't understand. Or perhaps, just perhaps, it was engineered to survive, like a probe wrapped in ice, designed to endure the crossing between worlds. But the most puzzling aspect of 3I Atlas may be what's missing from its chemical signature. Unlike typical comets approaching the Sun, 3I Atlas shows almost no cyanogen or diatomic carbon emissions. These are the gases that give comets their characteristic blue-green glow. Their absence is unusual. Scientists propose several explanations. Maybe a crust is preventing normal sublimation. Maybe its alien chemistry simply doesn't behave like the comets we know. Or maybe, just maybe, artificial materials are masking its true emissions. Camouflage written in molecules. Each interstellar visitor has carried a different chemical signature, like stamps from alien postal systems. Oumuamua showed no outgassing at all. Borisov was rich in carbon monoxide from its colder origins, and now 3I Atlas brings water and organics, but hides the gases we expect to see. It's as if each visitor is a different type of messenger, carrying different information, different purposes. A progression of contact, written in the language of chemistry. What message might be encoded in the molecules of 3I Atlas? What information travels with it through the dark between stars? And why does its chemistry seem designed to survive, to preserve, to endure until it reaches us? The answers may be hidden in plain sight, written in the alien alphabet of isotopes and compounds that drift just beyond our reach. Chapter 5. Orbital Oddities. Picture this: a colossal black sphere, 11 kilometers across, drifting through the cosmic void. It approaches our solar system not from the side, not from below, but from above, cutting through space at a steep angle against the natural flow of our worlds. Its path should be random, chaotic, the result of billions of years of gravitational chaos as it wandered between the stars. Instead, its trajectory reads like a carefully planned itinerary. 3I Atlas travels on what astronomers call a retrograde orbit, moving against the general rotation of our solar system. With an inclination of nearly 162 degrees, it approaches from high above the plane where planets orbit, like a scout surveying from the hills. This is already unusual. Most comets born in our solar system follow gentler paths, staying closer to the orbital plane that all planets share. But 3I Atlas cuts through space like it was drawn on a map by someone who knew exactly where they wanted to go. The numbers tell the story of an object that can never be captured. With an eccentricity of 6.1, this is a hyperbolic trajectory of extraordinary power. 3I Atlas races toward our sun at 58 kilometers per second, accelerating to 68 kilometers per second at its closest approach. At those speeds, nothing can hold it here. It will observe, and then it will leave. But it's the sequence of encounters that should make us pause. October 3rd, 2025. 3I Atlas passes within 0.19 astronomical units of Mars, close enough to study our red neighbor in detail. October 29th, 2025. Perihelion. The visitor reaches its closest point to our sun, just 1.36 astronomical units away, right between the orbits of Earth and Mars. November 3rd, 2025. A sweep past Venus at 0.65 astronomical units, close enough to analyze our shrouded twin. December 19th, 2025. The moment many are waiting for. 3 Atlas passes just 1.8 astronomical units from Earth, close enough to study us. March 16th, 2026. The final act. A flyby of Jupiter at 0.36 astronomical units, using our giant planet as a gravitational slingshot toward the outer darkness. This is not the random path of a wandering comet. This is a tour, a systematic survey of our solar system's major worlds. The probability of such alignments occurring by chance? Orbital simulations put it at roughly 1 in 20,000. 1 in 20,000. Those are not the odds of coincidence. Those are the odds of design. The path of 3I Atlas mirrors the gravity assist maneuvers used by our own spacecraft. Voyager, Cassini, New Horizons, all used similar techniques, flying past planets to gather data and adjust their courses. It's a signature of intelligence, of purpose, of someone who knows how to navigate between worlds. Where the first visitor, Oumuamua, zipped past too quickly for detailed study and Borisov moved like any normal comet through empty space, 3I Atlas slows down just enough to observe. It lingers near each planet like a curious tourist, taking its time, gathering what it came for. The third visitor feels different. Not a random bullet fired from the cosmic dark, but a deliberate observer, a watcher, making its rounds. As it approaches each world in turn, one has to wonder, what sensors might be hidden beneath that dark surface? What data is being collected as it sweeps past Mars, Venus, Earth, Jupiter? What kind of intelligence plots a course that visits every major planet in sequence? And when it's done, when it has seen what it came to see, 3I Atlas will accelerate back into the void, carrying its observations to where exactly? Perhaps the most unsettling question isn't where it's going, but who might be waiting to receive its report. Chapter 6, The Dark Forest. Hypothesis. Imagine the galaxy as a vast and silent forest. Every star is a tree, every civilization a hidden hunter crouching in the shadows. No one dares cry out, for to be heard is to invite destruction. And so the hunters send only their eyes, silent watchers, cloaked in stone and ice, drifting between the trees. This is the dark forest hypothesis, born from the mind of Chinese author Liu Cixin, but rooted in very real questions about why the universe seems so empty, so quiet, when it should be teeming with life. The idea is elegant and terrifying. If civilizations exist throughout the galaxy, why don't we hear from them? Perhaps because revealing yourself to the cosmos is the most dangerous thing an intelligent species can do. Perhaps the universe is full of civilizations, but they're all hiding from each other, waiting, watching, ready to eliminate any threat before it can grow strong enough to pose danger. In a dark forest universe, broadcasting your location is suicide. But observation is survival. If this theory holds true, advanced civilizations wouldn't announce themselves with radio signals or massive constructions. Instead, They would send stealth probes disguised as the most common objects in space: asteroids, comets, natural debris that drifts unnoticed through solar systems, gathering intelligence on young civilizations like ours. Think about it. Comets are perfect camouflage. They already wander the galaxy, ejected from star systems and drifting through the cosmic void for billions of years. They're dark, irregular, expected. Who would suspect that beneath the ice and rock, sensors might be recording, transmitters might be listening, artificial intelligence might be cataloging everything it observes? And if you were going to hide technology inside a comet, you'd want it large enough to contain sophisticated instruments. You'd want it pristine enough to preserve delicate systems across the vast journey between stars. You'd want it to follow a trajectory that would bring it close to the major worlds of your target system. You'd want something exactly like 3I Atlas. Consider its behavior through the lens of reconnaissance. The precise flybys past Mars, Venus, Earth, and Jupiter begin to look less like coincidence and more like a systematic survey. The missing cometary gases could be intentional, preventing the normal outgassing that might interfere with hidden sensors. The dark surface could be absorbing signals rather than just sunlight. It drifts silently, yet always within view of the planets. A watcher, cloaked in ice. In the dark forest, humanity might be like a tribe in the jungle, building fires and telling stories, unaware of the eyes studying us from the shadows. We celebrate our achievements, broadcast our presence, reach toward the stars with eager hands. Meanwhile, the watchers record our progress, measure our capabilities, assess our potential threat. Some theorists whisper that we may already be cataloged, that somewhere in the galaxy, intelligence files mark Earth as a world of interest, that our nuclear weapons, our artificial intelligence, our spreading technology have caught the attention of civilizations that have learned to hide among the comets and asteroids. If the dark forest hypothesis is true, then 3I Atlas may not be just a visitor. It may be an agent of forces that learned long ago to survive by staying invisible, and its mission here might be to determine whether humanity is ready to join the silent galaxy, or whether we're a threat that needs to be contained. As it completes its survey of our worlds, we have to ask, what conclusions is it drawing? What data is it collecting as it watches our cities glow in the darkness, our satellites orbit overhead, our spacecraft reach toward Mars? And when it disappears into the void beyond Jupiter, carrying its observations back to the dark forest, what will it report about the young civilization that builds its fires so bright, so visible, so unaware of the watchers in the trees? Chapter 7. Missing Signatures. When astronomers first pointed their instruments at 3I Atlas, they expected to see the familiar face of a comet. As it approached our sun, warming in the solar light, it should have begun releasing the gases that give comets their characteristic glow. Cyanogen, painting the sky blue. Diatomic carbon, glowing green like an ember in the darkness. This is the language comets speak. Their chemical fingerprints, written in light, tell us their stories. Where they came from, what they're made of, how long they've been wandering through space. But when the scientists looked at 3I Atlas, they found something unsettling. They detected water vapor, the breakdown products of ice melting under the sun's heat. This was expected normal, the signature of any active comet. But the other gases, the cyanogen and carbon that should paint this visitor in blues and greens, they were missing. Or rather, they were strangely weak, almost absent, as if something was preventing their release. This is puzzling because 3I Atlas is large, active, and bathed in sunlight. It should be outgassing strongly, painting space with a colorful chemistry of sublimation. Instead, it releases water vapor like a whisper while keeping its other secrets locked away beneath the surface. The absence of these common gases makes 3I Atlas look chemically wrong compared to every comet we've studied in our own solar system. It's active, but selectively so. It reveals some things while concealing others. Scientists offer cautious explanations. Perhaps its surface has been hardened by billions of years of cosmic radiation, creating a crust that prevents easy sublimation. Perhaps its home star system lacked certain volatile compounds, making its chemistry naturally different from local comets. Perhaps it simply hasn't warmed enough yet to release all its gases. But others whisper about more unsettling possibilities. What if the absence of normal comet gases isn't natural? What if something is actively preventing their release? A camouflage layer, perhaps, engineered to hide the object's true activity. Artificial materials replacing the natural volatile gases that would give away its artificial nature. If you wanted to disguise a probe as a comet, you would need it to behave like a comet. But you might also want to control what it reveals. Too much outgassing could interfere with sensors. The wrong chemical signature could attract unwanted attention. So you would create a careful disguise, one that shows just enough comet behavior to be believable while hiding everything that might reveal your true purpose. A mask of ice, concealing what lies beneath. Consider the pattern again. Oumuamua showed no outgassing at all, yet somehow accelerated in ways that defied explanation. Borisov behaved like a textbook comet, releasing all the expected gases in all the expected ways. And now 3I Atlas sits between these extremes, active but selective, revealing water while concealing carbon. 3 visitors, 3 different approaches. As if each one was designed for a different kind of observation, a different level of stealth. The first visitor was too obvious in its strangeness, drawing attention with its impossible acceleration. The second was too perfect in its normalcy, perhaps a test of our ability to detect more subtle visitors. And the third has learned to be more careful. It wears the face of a comet, but chooses what to reveal and what to hide. It outgasses water to maintain its disguise while keeping other chemicals locked away beneath its dark surface. It behaves just normally enough to avoid suspicion while performing its true mission. As 3I Atlas continues its tour of our solar system, scientists watch its chemical signatures with growing curiosity. What other gases might be hidden beneath that careful exterior? What reactions might be taking place inside that massive nucleus, shielded from our instruments by layers of ice and artifice? And perhaps most importantly, if 3I Atlas is choosing what to reveal, what else might it be choosing to conceal? Chapter 8. Controversial Voices. In every age there is a voice that dares to suggest the impossible. Someone who looks at the evidence everyone else accepts and whispers, perhaps it is more than it seems. In our time, that voice belongs to Avi Loeb. When Oumuamua tumbled through our solar system in 2017, most astronomers saw an unusual but natural object. Loeb, a Harvard astrophysicist with impeccable credentials, saw something else entirely. He suggested that Oumuamua might not be natural at all. Perhaps it was a solar sail, a piece of alien technology drifting through space. Perhaps it was a probe sent by intelligence from another star. The scientific community reacted with everything from fascination to fury. How dare a respected astronomer leap to such extraordinary conclusions? How dare he suggest aliens when natural explanations, however incomplete, might suffice? But Loeb's voice sparked something that had been sleeping in the public imagination. His book, Extraterrestrial, opened the door to serious discussion of what he calls space archaeology, the idea that alien artifacts might already exist in our solar system, waiting to be recognized for what they truly are. Now, as 3I Atlas makes its grand tour of our worlds, the same philosophical battle rages with renewed intensity. Loeb and those who think like him point to the evidence with growing conviction. This object is large enough to conceal sophisticated technology. Its trajectory past Mars, Venus, Earth, and Jupiter looks exactly like a reconnaissance mission. Its missing chemical signatures suggest deliberate camouflage, as if someone designed it to appear as a comet while hiding its true nature. If Oumuamua was a scout, they whisper, then 3I Atlas might be the surveyor. The mainstream scientific community pushes back with equal conviction. They apply Occam's razor like a shield against speculation. Unusual comets exist throughout the universe. Our models of interstellar chemistry are incomplete. The burden of proof lies with those making extraordinary claims, and so far, every observation of 3I Atlas is consistent with a large, unusual, but entirely natural comet. Show us the artificial signatures, they demand. Show us the technology. Until then, we follow the evidence where it leads, not where we might wish it to go. This tension itself has become part of the story. On one side stand the skeptics, guardians of scientific rigor, demanding proof before acceptance. On the other stand the dreamers, pushing the boundaries of possibility, asking humanity to consider that we might not be alone. Between them lies 3I Atlas, massive and dark, keeping its secrets as it completes its survey of our system. The controversy serves a deeper purpose than mere academic debate. It forces us to confront fundamental questions about our place in the universe. Are we willing to consider that alien intelligence might manifest in forms we don't expect? Are we prepared to accept that first contact might not come with fanfare and announcements, but with stealth and observation? Or do we remain safely skeptical, demanding certainty in an uncertain cosmos, dismissing possibilities until they force themselves upon our attention? One camp says this is ice, nothing more. Ancient frozen water carrying the chemistry of distant stars, following the natural laws of orbital mechanics as it passes through our system before returning to the void. The other whispers, this is camouflage, a traveler with secrets, a watcher cloaked in frozen disguise, studying our worlds with instruments hidden beneath layers of pristine ice, collecting data for purposes we cannot imagine. Between these voices lies the mystery of 3I Atlas. Perhaps one day we will know the truth of what drifts past our worlds in the quiet darkness. Perhaps we will recognize the watchers for what they are. Or perhaps if the dark forest is real, the watchers will never let us know. Perhaps they will complete their observations, file their reports, and vanish into the cosmic night, leaving only questions in their wake. The debate continues, but 3I Atlas doesn't wait for consensus. It follows its path past our planets, indifferent to human controversy, focused on whatever mission brought it across the void to visit our small corner of the galaxy. Chapter 9. Government Secrets and UFO Links. For decades, the skies have whispered secrets, disks over Roswell, lights above Navy carriers, objects that defy our understanding, captured on military sensors but hidden from public eyes. Now, another traveler glides past our planets. Scientists call it 3I Atlas. But in the quiet corridors of government, one wonders, do they call it something else? The story of official secrecy around aerial phenomena begins in the summer of 1947, when something crashed in the desert near Roswell, New Mexico. Initially reported as a flying disc, the military quickly retracted their statement, claiming it was merely a weather balloon. But the seed was planted. If they would lie about one thing, what else might they be concealing? From this incident grew the mythology of government cover-ups, secret committees, and hidden knowledge. Rumors spoke of Majestic 12, a shadowy group formed in the wake of Roswell to manage any future contact with non-human intelligence. They supposedly studied crash debris, reverse-engineered impossible technology, and maintained absolute silence about humanity's place in a populated cosmos. Whether or not Majestic 12 ever existed, the pattern it represents persists. When strange objects appear in our skies, official responses follow a familiar script. Initial acknowledgement, followed by conventional explanations, followed by classified silence. Today, We live in an era of partial disclosure. Pentagon UAP hearings have confirmed that military pilots regularly encounter craft that seem to defy the laws of physics. Navy aviators describe tic-tac objects that accelerate beyond any known technology, moving through air and water with equal ease. Intelligence officials hint, carefully, at non-human craft retrieval programs, while maintaining that much of what they know remains classified. The public learns something remarkable from these hearings. Our government encounters unexplained phenomena regularly, studies them intensively, but reveals only fragments of what they discover. Which brings us back to 3I Atlas. The U.S. Space Force, established in 2019, monitors every object that enters Earth's vicinity. Their sensors track debris, satellites, asteroids, and comets with precision that borders on omniscience. They know exactly where 3I Atlas is at every moment, exactly how fast it's traveling, exactly when it will pass closest to each planet. Yet for all this tracking, for all this data collection, there have been no official military statements about 3I Atlas. No press releases, no briefings, just silence. If this were merely an unusual but natural comet, why the lack of commentary from those whose job it is to protect Earth from space-based threats? Why does the most sophisticated space monitoring system ever created watch this massive object tour our solar system without public acknowledgement? Perhaps because they see something the civilian astronomers don't. Perhaps because their instruments detect signatures that remain classified. Perhaps because 3I Atlas fits into a larger pattern that the public isn't ready to understand. There's another curious connection worth considering. UFO sightings often spike during celestial events. Solar eclipses bring waves of reported craft. Meteor showers coincide with unusual aerial activity. And historically, some of the most dramatic UFO encounters have occurred during comet passages. What if these aren't coincidences? What if interstellar visitors like 3I Atlas serve as motherships, carriers for the smaller craft that buzz our military installations and probe our defenses? What if the UFOs that appear on radar screens around the world are deployed from massive objects that masquerade as natural comets? The timing would make sense. As 3I Atlas approaches each planet in its tour, it would have opportunities to deploy scouts, to gather close-range intelligence, to test our responses, and catalog our capabilities. In this scenario, the bright objects that dart through our skies at impossible speeds aren't visitors from distant stars. They're local operations launched from a command vessel disguised as a comet, carrying out a detailed survey of human civilization while maintaining perfect cover. The governments of the world might already know this. Their silence around 3I Atlas might not be indifference, but careful management of information too sensitive for public consumption. They watch, they track, they study, but they say nothing. Because to acknowledge what 3I Atlas might really be would mean acknowledging that we are not alone, that we are being studied, and that the watchers have been here all along, hiding in plain sight among the ancient ice and stone that drifts between the stars. Perhaps the truth sleeps in classified files, waiting for a future generation brave enough to speak what this one only dares to whisper in the darkness. Chapter 10. Myths, Omens, and Ancient Watchers. Our ancestors saw comets as omens, gods with burning tails, or watchers descending from the sky. Tonight, one drifts past again. Scientists measure its orbit and analyze its chemistry, but myth tells us another story, that the watchers never left, that they have always returned, cloaked in ice and fire, carrying secrets in their silence, long before telescopes existed, before humans understood orbital mechanics or spectroscopy. Our ancestors looked up at the night sky and knew when something was different. When a new star appeared where none had been before, when a glowing visitor swept across the darkness trailing light like scattered tears. They understood they were witnessing something profound. They called them omens, messengers, signs from the gods. In ancient China, court astronomers watched for what they called broom stars, comets that swept across the heavens, cleaning away old dynasties and making room for the new. They believed these celestial visitors carried the power to topple emperors and reshape the Middle Kingdom. The appearance of a comet was often followed by war, revolution, or the fall of entire civilizations. The Chinese kept meticulous records, tracking these visitors across centuries, noting their return patterns, studying their behavior with the dedication we now reserve for scientific research. But their motivation was different. They believed the broom stars were conscious, intentional, sent by cosmic forces to judge the affairs of mortals. In Rome, when Julius Caesar was assassinated on the Ides of March, a brilliant comet appeared in the skies above the Forum. The people didn't see it as coincidence. They understood it as Caesar's soul ascending to take its place among the gods, transformed from earthly dictator to celestial deity. The comet was proof that their leader had transcended death, that he watched them still from his throne among the stars. But it was the Romans who first asked the question that haunts us today. Were these visitors random wanderers, or were they following some greater purpose? The Maya and Aztec civilizations of the Americas wove comets into their most sacred prophecies. To them, these glowing apparitions were harbingers of transformation, appearing at the crucial moments when one age ended and another began. Comet appearances coincided with the fall of cities, the rise of new kings, the arrival of strangers from across the sea who would change everything forever. The Mayan codices speak of star demons that carried messages between the gods and humanity. These weren't viewed as natural phenomena, but as conscious entities with their own motivations, their own plans for the civilizations they observed. The Maya built entire calendars around celestial cycles, tracking not just the sun and moon, but the return of these cosmic messengers. What strikes modern researchers is how consistent these accounts are across cultures that had no contact with each other. From the steppes of Central Asia to the jungles of Guatemala, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the islands of Polynesia, humans looked at comets and saw the same thing: watchers from the sky, bringing judgment, transformation, and change. Perhaps most intriguing are the stories preserved in the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text that speaks of beings called the Watchers. These were celestial entities who descended from heaven to observe humanity, to study our ways, to judge our development. According to the text, the Watchers possessed knowledge far beyond human understanding. They watched from a distance, intervening rarely, but always present, always observing. The Watchers were said to appear at crucial moments in human history, times of great change and transformation. They came not to conquer or destroy, but to witness, to catalog, to understand what humanity might become. And when their observations were complete, they would return to the heavens, carrying their reports to powers beyond human comprehension. The parallels to our modern situation are impossible to ignore. Here we are, at another moment of profound transformation. Nuclear weapons give us the power to destroy our own world. Artificial intelligence promises to reshape the very nature of consciousness. Climate change forces us to confront our impact on the planet we call home. We stand at the threshold between one age of humanity and whatever comes next. And into our skies comes 3I Atlas, following a path that will take it past every major world in our solar system, observing, analyzing, perhaps judging what we've become. The Sumerians, who gave us the earliest known written language, spoke of the Anunnaki, beings who came from the heavens to earth. Their cylinder seals and cuneiform tablets describe these entities not as gods in the abstract sense, but as physical beings who arrive from somewhere else, who possessed technology beyond human understanding, who watched the development of early civilization from their positions among the stars. In Sumerian mythology, celestial bodies weren't just lights in the sky. They were the vehicles and dwelling places of these cosmic observers. Comets, in particular, were seen as the chariots of the Anunnaki, carrying them between worlds as they conducted their eternal surveillance of human affairs. The similarities extend beyond the Middle East. Native American tribes across the continent tell stories of star people who traveled between worlds in glowing orbs that moved across the night sky. The Lakotas speak of beings who came from the Pleiades to teach and observe. The Hopi describe blue star Kachina that appears during times of great change. The Cherokee tell of visitors who traveled in flying stars that could land on Earth when needed. For many of these traditions, comets weren't random visitors but the footsteps of the star people as they moved between worlds. Each comet passage marked another visit from the cosmic observers who had been watching humanity since the beginning of memory. What makes these ancient accounts so compelling is their consistency about timing. Comets appeared, according to these traditions, during periods of crisis and transformation. They came when humanity faced crucial decisions about its future. They arrived at moments when civilizations rose or fell, when new technologies emerged, when the course of human development reached critical junctures. This pattern continues today. We live in an era of unprecedented change and uncertainty. Global conflicts threaten stability. Environmental collapse looms on the horizon. Revolutionary technologies promise to transform everything we know about intelligence, consciousness, and life itself. We are poised at the edge of becoming something new, or destroying ourselves in the attempt. And at this precise moment in our history, the third confirmed interstellar visitor in human history arrives in our solar system, following a trajectory that will bring it close to every major planet, as if conducting a comprehensive survey of our cosmic neighborhood. The ancient stories suggest this is no coincidence. According to the collective memory of our species, the Watchers have always come during times like these. They observe our triumphs and failures. They measure our progress toward whatever criteria they use to judge a species ready for transformation. The question that haunted our ancestors haunts us still. Are we alone in noticing this timing, or are we being noticed in return? The myths speak of watchers who remain hidden, who observe without revealing themselves, who gather information about humanity's development and carry it back to powers we cannot comprehend. They suggest that we have never been alone, that consciousness observes us from the depths of space, that our every step toward civilization has been cataloged and filed in cosmic archives. If the ancient stories contain even fragments of truth, then 3II Atlas may be far more than a chunk of alien ice following natural orbital mechanics. It may be the latest in a series of observation missions that have been visiting Earth for millennia, arriving at the moments when humanity faces its greatest challenges and opportunities. The myths tell us the Watchers come not as conquerors, but as witnesses. They don't interfere directly with human affairs, but they observe, they record, they report back to whoever sent them. And perhaps, when they've seen enough, when they've gathered the data they came for, they make recommendations about what should happen next. As 3I Atlas continues its grand tour of our solar system, drifting past Mars and Venus and Earth and Jupiter with the patience of something that has traveled between stars for eons, we might ask ourselves what it's recording. What does it see when it observes our cities glowing in the night? What does it make of our satellites orbiting overhead, our spacecraft reaching toward Mars, our radio signals spreading into the cosmic dark? And when its observations are complete, when it disappears beyond the orbit of Jupiter carrying whatever data it came to collect, what will it report about the species that calls itself human? The ancient myths suggest the answer to that question may determine our future in ways we're only beginning to understand. Chapter 11. The Grat Silence. The Great Test. In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi was having lunch with colleagues at Los Alamos National Laboratory, when the conversation turned to the possibility of extraterrestrial life. After listening to his friends discuss UFO sightings and the likelihood of alien civilizations, Fermi suddenly asked a question that would haunt humanity for generations. Where is everybody? His logic was elegant and terrifying. The universe is vast beyond comprehension. Hundreds of billions of stars populate our galaxy alone, and many of those stars host planets capable of supporting life. Even if intelligent life is rare, the sheer scale of the cosmos suggests it should exist in countless locations. And if even a tiny fraction of those civilizations developed space travel, they should have spread throughout the galaxy millions of years ago. Yet when we look up at the night sky, we see only silence. No radio signals carrying alien conversations. No megastructures built around distant stars. No obvious signs of intelligence reshaping solar systems to suit their needs. The cosmos appears empty, sterile, devoid of the bustling activity we might expect from a universe teeming with life. This is the Great Silence, and it poses one of the most profound mysteries our species has ever encountered. Scientists and philosophers have proposed numerous solutions to this paradox, each more unsettling than the last. Perhaps intelligent life is so rare that we are essentially alone among the stars, a single candle flickering in an ocean of darkness. Perhaps civilizations inevitably destroy themselves shortly after developing advanced technology, leaving behind only archaeological remains scattered across dead worlds. Or perhaps the silence is not what it seems. The zoo hypothesis suggests that advanced civilizations are out there, but they deliberately avoid contact with younger species like ourselves. Like researchers studying animals in their natural habitat, they observe without interference, maintaining their distance to avoid contaminating the natural development of primitive cultures. The dark forest hypothesis, which we explored earlier, proposes an even more chilling explanation. The galaxy may be filled with civilizations, but they all hide from each other out of necessity. In a cosmos where revealing yourself might mean destruction, silence becomes survival. But there's another possibility that the ancient myths have been whispering to us for thousands of years. The silence is not empty, but watchful. Perhaps the cosmos isn't devoid of intelligence. Perhaps it's full of observers who have learned to remain hidden, who study younger civilizations from concealment, who gather data without revealing their presence. Perhaps the Great Silence is not the absence of watchers, but the quiet patience of those who already see us. This theory gains weight when we consider the timing of our cosmic visitors. The modern UFO era began in 1947, just 2 years after humanity detonated its first atomic weapons. Suddenly, military pilots around the world began reporting encounters with craft that defied conventional physics. The Roswell incident occurred during this same period, as if something had taken notice of our new capacity for self-destruction. The 1950s brought Sputnik and the dawn of the space age. Human technology reached beyond our atmosphere for the first time, and UFO sightings surged accordingly. Reports flooded in from around the globe, describing objects that seemed to be studying our primitive space efforts with intense interest. Now, in the 2020s, as artificial intelligence reshapes the nature of consciousness itself and climate change threatens our planetary stability, we have the arrival of 3 confirmed interstellar visitors in less than a decade. After billions of years of cosmic silence, why do these messengers come now? The pattern suggests that our cosmic visitors aren't random wanderers, but deliberate observers, appearing at crucial moments in human development. They seem to arrive when we reach new technological thresholds, when we gain capabilities that fundamentally change our species' relationship with the universe. This raises a profound question. Are these visitations tests? Think of it as a cosmic checkpoint system. Each time humanity develops a new capability that could make us a threat or an ally to other civilizations, observers arrive to assess our character. How do we respond to the unknown? With fear and aggression, or with curiosity and wisdom? Oumuamua appeared as we entered the age of social media and global connectivity, when information spreads instant, but truth becomes increasingly elusive. It was small, strange, and departed quickly, as if testing our ability to study the unknown without panic. Tuai Borisov arrived during a period of rising nationalism and international tensions, a more conventional visitor that tested our ability to share data and cooperate in scientific endeavors despite political differences. And now, 3I Atlas comes during perhaps the most critical period in human history. We possess nuclear weapons capable of sterilizing our planet. We've created artificial intelligences that may soon surpass our own cognitive abilities. We face environmental changes that could collapse our civilization or force us to become a truly spacefaring species. This visitor is different from its predecessors, larger, more obvious, following a trajectory that brings it past every major planet in our solar system. It's not hiding or hurrying through. It's taking its time, conducting what appears to be a comprehensive survey of our cosmic neighborhood. Perhaps 3I Atlas is the final examination. The watchers have observed us for decades, possibly centuries or millennia. They've cataloged our progress, measured our capacity for both creation and destruction, assessed our readiness for whatever comes next. Now they send their largest, most sophisticated probe to conduct a final evaluation. What are they looking for? Perhaps signs that we can be trusted with the kind of power that comes with true cosmic citizenship. Evidence that we've learned to cooperate rather than compete, to explore rather than exploit, to think in terms of species survival rather than tribal advantage. Or perhaps they're simply determining whether we represent a threat that needs to be contained. The Grat Silence may be maintained by a kind of cosmic immigration system. Young civilizations are allowed to develop in isolation until they reach certain technological benchmarks. At that point, they're evaluated. Those who pass the test are welcomed into a larger galactic community. Those who fail, well, perhaps that explains why the cosmos seems so empty. This interpretation transforms our understanding of the Fermi paradox completely. The question isn't, where is everybody? But rather, are we ready to meet everybody? The silence isn't an absence of intelligence, but a holding pattern, a cosmic waiting room where younger civilizations develop until they prove themselves worthy of contact. The watchers remain hidden not out of indifference, but out of protocol, observing without interference until the evaluation is complete. If this theory holds true, then humanity stands at the most critical juncture in our species' history. Not just because of the technologies we're developing or the environmental challenges we face, but because our responses to these challenges are being recorded, analyzed, and judged by intelligences far older and more advanced than ourselves. Every decision we make about nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence, climate change, and space exploration isn't just about our own future. It's a demonstration of what kind of species we are, what kind of neighbors we might become in a populated galaxy. The ancient myths spoke of watchers who came during times of transformation, who observed without interfering, who carried reports back to powers beyond human understanding. They describe civilizations being judged not by their technology, but by their wisdom, not by their power, but by their restraint. Perhaps the myths were more accurate than we realized. Perhaps the Grat Silence has never been empty at all, but filled with patient observers, waiting to see what we choose to become. As 3I Atlas continues its survey of our solar system, drifting past our worlds with the unhurried patience of something that has traveled between stars, we might consider what it's really measuring. Not just our radio emissions or our satellite constellations, but our character as a species, our capacity for growth, our readiness for the responsibilities that come with cosmic citizenship. The evaluation may already be underway. The question isn't whether we're being watched, but whether we're passing the test. And what happens next may depend entirely on the answer to that question. The Great Silence may be about to end, one way or another. Whether it ends with welcome or with judgment may depend on choices we're making right now, choices we may not even realize are being observed and recorded by watchers hidden among the stars. The cosmic waiting room may be preparing to either open its doors or seal them shut. And 3i Atlas may be here to deliver the final verdict on humanity's readiness for whatever lies beyond the silence. Chapter 12. The End or the Beginning. There will come a day when 3i Atlas is nothing more than a memory. October 29th, 2025, it will reach perihelion, its closest approach to our sun. For a brief moment, it will bask in the full warmth of our star, perhaps releasing secrets it has kept locked away for eons of travel through the cosmic cold. Then, it will begin its long journey outward. December 19th, 2025, it will pass closest to Earth, just 1.8 astronomical units away. Close enough that amateur astronomers might glimpse its dark form through their telescopes. Close enough that our most sophisticated instruments will peer deep into its structure, searching for answers to questions we're only beginning to learn how to ask. March 16th, 2026. It will swing past Jupiter, using our giant planet as a gravitational slingshot to accelerate toward the outer darkness. This will be its final planetary encounter, the last moment when something from another star system will linger in our cosmic neighborhood. And then it will be gone. The trajectory calculations are precise, unforgiving. 3i Atlas follows a hyperbolic path that ensures it will never return. Unlike the comets born in our solar system that swing back toward the sun in predictable cycles, this visitor is here for months only, then gone for eternity. By 2030, it will have passed beyond the orbit of Neptune, fading from our instruments as it accelerates back toward interstellar space. By 2050, it will be farther from the sun than Voyager 1 is today. By the end of this century, it will be lost in the cosmic dark between stars, carrying whatever observations it made here to whatever destination awaits it in the void. From our perspective, 3i Atlas will be nothing more than a brief interruption in the cosmic silence. A few months of excitement, discovery, and speculation, followed by decades of analysis and debate about what we witnessed. The scientists will have their treasure trove of data, terabytes of spectra, images, and measurements that represent the most detailed study ever conducted of an interstellar visitor. They will publish papers for years to come, analyzing every aspect of its composition, structure, and behavior. They will map its chemistry like explorers charting a new continent, cataloging the alien elements and compounds that formed around a distant star. Even if 3i Atlas proves to be entirely natural, nothing more than an unusually large chunk of ancient ice and rock, it will revolutionize our understanding of planetary formation in other star systems. It will teach us about the chemistry of alien worlds, the processes that shape matter in distant stellar nurseries, the forces that eject objects from their birth systems to wander the galaxy for billions of years. The astronomers will call it an unprecedented opportunity, a gift from the cosmos that expanded our knowledge of the universe beyond our solar system. They will remember it as the visitor that proved interstellar objects could be studied in detail, opening a new field of astronomical research. But for others, different questions will linger long after 3i Atlas disappears into the darkness. Why was it so large, so much more massive than its predecessors? Why did it appear so pristine, unweathered by the eons of radiation it should have encountered during its journey through interstellar space? Why did its trajectory align so perfectly with the orbits of our major planets, creating a grand tour that brought it past Mars, Venus, Earth, and Jupiter in sequence? Why were the expected cometary gases missing from its spectrum, as if something was deliberately masking its true chemical signature? Why did it arrive now, during the most critical period in human development, when we possess both the power to destroy ourselves and the technology to reach toward the stars? Why, after billions of years of cosmic silence, have 3 confirmed interstellar visitors appeared within a single decade, each one different from the last, each one arriving at a moment when humanity faces new challenges and capabilities. To those who suspect 3I Atlas might be more than a natural visitor, these questions will never be fully answered. The object will remain forever mysterious, a potential probe disguised as a comet, a watcher cloaked in ice, an agent of intelligence that observed us for a few crucial months before reporting back to powers beyond our understanding. The conspiracy theorists will always wonder what data it collected as it drifted past our worlds. What did it record about our cities glowing in the night? What did it make of our satellites orbiting overhead, our spacecraft reaching toward Mars, our radio signals spreading into the cosmic dark? What conclusions did it draw about our nuclear weapons, our artificial intelligences, our struggles with climate change and social division? And what will it report when it returns to whoever sent it? If 3I Atlas was indeed an observer, then its mission here represents something unprecedented in human experience. For the first time in our history, we may have been systematically studied by intelligence from another star system. Our planet, our civilization, our species may have been cataloged and evaluated by minds that evolved under alien suns. The implications are staggering. If we were being tested, did we pass? If we were being evaluated, what was the verdict? If we were being judged, are we found worthy of contact, or have we been marked as a threat to be contained? The ancient myths spoke of watchers who came during times of transformation, who observed critical moments in human development, who carried reports back to cosmic authorities. They described civilizations being judged not by their technology, but by their wisdom, not by their power, but by their restraint. If those myths contain even fragments of truth, then 3I Atlas may have been conducting the most important evaluation in human history. Our response to climate change, our handling of nuclear weapons, our development of artificial intelligence, our treatment of each other and our planet. All of it may have been recorded and analyzed by intelligence far beyond our own. Perhaps most unsettling is the timing of its departure. By March 2026, 3I Atlas will have completed its survey and begun its acceleration toward interstellar space. It will carry its observations away from our solar system just as humanity faces some of the most critical decisions in our species' history. The next few years will determine whether we learn to cooperate or continue to compete, whether we develop sustainable technologies or exhaust our planet's resources, whether we use artificial intelligence to enhance human potential or allow it to replace human judgment entirely. These choices will shape not just our immediate future, but our long-term survival as a civilization. And by the time we make these crucial decisions, our cosmic observer will already be gone, its report already filed, its recommendations already delivered to whatever authority sent it to study us. This raises profound questions about our place in the universe and our relationship with whatever intelligence might exist among the stars. Are we alone in making these momentous choices about our future, or are we being guided, judged, perhaps even manipulated by forces we don't understand? If the dark forest hypothesis is correct, then 3I Atlas's departure might signal the end of our cosmic childhood. We may be graduating from observation to evaluation, from protection to exposure. The galaxy may be preparing to decide whether humanity deserves a place among the stars, or represents a threat that needs to be eliminated. Alternatively, if the zoo hypothesis holds true, then 3I Atlas might herald the beginning of contact. Perhaps our observers have decided we're ready to learn we're not alone, that the universe is populated with intelligence, that humanity has a destiny among the stars if we prove worthy of it. Or perhaps the Grat Silence will simply continue, and 3 Atlas will vanish into the cosmic dark like its predecessors, leaving behind only questions and speculation about what we witnessed during those few crucial months when another world briefly shared our sky. But even if we never learn the truth about 3I Atlas, even if it remains forever mysterious, its visit will have changed us. For the first time in human history, we have been forced to seriously consider that we might be under observation by intelligence from another star system. We have been compelled to ask what kind of species we are, what kind of future we want to create, what kind of cosmic citizens we might become. These are questions our ancestors could only dream about, questions that force us to think beyond our immediate concerns and consider our responsibilities to the larger community of intelligence that might exist throughout the galaxy. As 3I Atlas fades from our telescopes and disappears into the interstellar night, it leaves behind more than just scientific data and conspiracy theories. It leaves us with a mirror that reflects our own nature, our own choices, our own potential futures. In its dark surface, we might see ourselves as we truly are, a young species balanced on the edge between wisdom and destruction, reaching toward the stars while still learning to live peacefully on the world that gave us birth. The Watchers, if they exist, have observed us during one of the most critical periods in human development. They have seen us grapple with technologies that could transform us into something greater or destroy us entirely. They have witnessed our struggles with cooperation and conflict, with knowledge and ignorance, with hope and despair. What they will make of what they observed, we may never know. But perhaps that's not the most important question. Perhaps the real question is what we will make of ourselves now that we know we might not be alone, now that we understand we might be watched, now that we realize our choices might echo beyond our small planet to influence how we're perceived by intelligence among the stars. The departure of 3I Atlas may mark the end of our cosmic innocence. We can no longer assume we're alone in the universe, unobserved and unjudged in our cosmic cradle. We must consider the possibility that our every action reverberates through a populated galaxy, that our development as a species might be guided or evaluated by minds far older and wiser than our own. This realization carries both terror and wonder. Terror, because we might not be ready for the responsibilities that come with cosmic citizenship. Wonder, because we might be part of something far greater than we ever imagined, citizens of a universe teeming with intelligence and purpose. As you sleep tonight, remember that somewhere in the darkness between stars, 3I Atlas continues its journey, whether it carries reports to waiting intelligence or simply drifts through empty space as a natural wanderer. We may never know, but its passage through our solar system has changed everything. It has forced us to look beyond our earthly concerns and consider our place in the cosmic community. It has made us ask what kind of species we want to be, what kind of future we want to create, what kind of legacy we want to leave for whatever watchers might come after it. The cosmos waits for our answer. And somewhere in the vast darkness between the stars, perhaps other minds wait too, patient as stone, silent as space, watching to see what humanity will choose to become. The end of 3I Atlas's visit may be the beginning of humanity's greatest transformation, or it may be our final chance to prove we deserve a place among the stars. Only time will tell which path we choose. But choose we must, for the Watchers, whether real or imagined, have seen us now. And there is no going back to cosmic innocence. The age of being watched has begun. What we do with that knowledge may determine whether it becomes the age of being welcomed or the age of being judged.